Harvey Weinstein's story is a stark reminder of the dark underbelly of the film industry. Once a titan of Hollywood, his rise was fueled by a culture that often prioritized power over ethics. Behind the glamour, countless voices were silenced, and the systemic failures that allowed his misconduct to thrive reveal a troubling truth about privilege and complicity. As we dissect his fall, we must confront the uncomfortable realities of accountability and the urgent need for change. This isn't just about one man, it's about reshaping an industry that has long turned a blind eye to abuse. The lessons learned from this saga are crucial for fostering a safer, more equitable future in film. Harvey Weinstein's story is a stark reminder of the dark underbelly of the film industry. Once a titan of Hollywood, his rise was fueled by a culture that often prioritized power over ethics. Behind the glamour, countless voices were silenced, and the systemic failures that allowed his misconduct to thrive reveal a troubling truth about privilege and complicity.
Harvey Weinstein was a giant in Hollywood, a name that echoed through the corridors of power and creativity in the film industry. He and his brother Bob founded Miramax, a small film distribution company that would grow into a powerhouse, revolutionizing the way independent films were perceived and distributed. They had a keen eye for independent films, often championing movies that others overlooked. Their ability to spot raw talent and unique stories set them apart in a competitive industry. Miramax, under Weinstein's leadership, delivered hit after hit. Pulp Fiction, Good Will Hunting, and Shakespeare in Love are just a few examples of their success. These films not only captivated audiences, but also redefined genres and set new standards for storytelling. Shakespeare in Love, in particular, was a testament to Weinstein's ability to blend commercial appeal with artistic integrity. The film's success at the box office and during award seasons was a clear indicator of Miramax's growing influence. These films weren't just box office successes, they were critical darlings, earning numerous awards and accolades. Miramax became synonymous with quality cinema, a brand that both filmmakers and audiences trusted. Weinstein's name became synonymous with quality cinema. He was a kingmaker, capable of launching careers and shaping the landscape of Hollywood. Directors, actors and writers all sought his approval, knowing that a nod from Weinstein could change their fortunes. He was a kingmaker, capable of launching careers and shaping the landscape of Hollywood. His influence was so profound that many credited him with the rise of independent cinema in the mainstream. Weinstein was known for his aggressive personality and ruthless business tactics. He was a force to be reckoned with, often bulldozing his way through obstacles to get what he wanted. He was demanding, controlling, and had a legendary temper. Stories of his outbursts and confrontations became part of Hollywood lore, painting a picture of a man who would stop at nothing to achieve his goals. He was also incredibly charismatic, able to charm his way into any room and win over even the most skeptical of critics. This duality made him a complex figure, both feared and admired by those who crossed his path. This potent mix of ambition and charm propelled him to the top of the industry. His ability to navigate the intricate web of Hollywood politics and relationships was unmatched. He was feared and respected, often in equal measure. His reputation as a tough negotiator and a visionary leader made him a formidable presence in the industry. His influence extended far beyond the silver screen, reaching into the realms of politics and philanthropy. Weinstein was a major donor to the Democratic Party, counting among his friends former presidents and influential politicians. Weinstein was a major donor to the Democratic Party, counting among his friends former presidents and influential politicians. His connections and contributions gave him a significant voice in political circles. He championed progressive causes, using his platform to advocate for issues he believed in. His public persona was that of a liberal, philanthropic mogul who cared deeply about social justice and equality. This carefully cultivated image of a liberal, philanthropic mogul made his eventual downfall all the more shocking. The revelations of his predatory behavior shattered the facade he had built over decades. Behind the facade of success and generosity lurked a dark secret, a pattern of predatory behavior that spanned decades. The man who had been celebrated for his contributions to cinema was now exposed as a manipulative and abusive figure. The man who championed stories of hope and redemption was, in reality, a master manipulator who used his power to exploit and abuse. His downfall was a stark reminder of the dark underbelly of Hollywood, where power and privilege often shielded the worst behaviors. As Weinstein's star rose, so too did the whispers about his behavior. His name became synonymous with success, but also with something far more sinister. Rumors of his inappropriate conduct towards women followed him like a shadow, casting a dark pall over his glittering career. There were stories of unwanted advances, propositions for massages, and inappropriate requests made under the guise of career advancement. These weren't isolated incidents, but a pattern of behavior that many found deeply troubling. These whispers circulated through the industry, passed from one person to the next, in hushed tones. It was as if everyone knew, yet no one dared to confront the elephant in the room. They were the open secret that everyone knew, but no one dared to speak about openly. Fear of retribution kept lips sealed and heads turned away.
Some dismissed the rumors as gossip, the inevitable byproduct of a powerful man in a glamorous industry. They believed it was just part of the Hollywood game. Others justified his behavior as the price of success in a cutthroat business. They argued that power and influence always come with a dark side. The power dynamics in Hollywood were heavily skewed in favor of men like Weinstein. The industry was a breeding ground for exploitation, where the powerful preyed on the vulnerable. Aspiring actresses, eager to make their mark, were often afraid to speak out against a man who held their careers in his hands. The stakes were too high and the risks too great. They feared being blacklisted, labeled as troublemakers, and losing out on opportunities. The fear of professional ruin was a powerful silencer.
The culture of silence surrounding Weinstein was pervasive. It was a toxic environment where fear and intimidation ruled. Those who witnessed his behavior or were subjected to it often felt powerless to speak out. They were trapped in a system that protected the predator and punished the victim. They were afraid of the repercussions, both professionally and personally. The threat of retaliation loomed large over anyone who considered coming forward. Weinstein was known for his vindictive streak and his ability to crush the careers of those who crossed him. His wrath was something to be feared. He was also a master manipulator, adept at silencing his accusers through threats, intimidation, and legal pressure. His tactics were ruthless and effective.
This culture of fear and silence allowed Weinstein to operate with impunity for years. His power and influence created a protective shield around him. He used his power and influence to silence his victims and protect his reputation. The system enabled his predatory behavior. The industry, for its part, turned a blind eye to his behavior, complicit in its silence. The allure of success and the fear of losing it kept many from speaking out. The whispers continued, however, growing louder with each passing year until they could no longer be ignored. The truth, long suppressed, finally began to emerge, and the world could no longer look away.
The casting couch is a term that has haunted Hollywood for decades. It represents the dark underbelly of the industry, where aspiring actors and actresses are pressured to trade sexual favors for career advancement. This exploitative practice has long been whispered about, but rarely addressed openly. Harvey Weinstein's case brought the issue to the forefront, exposing the systemic abuse of power that has plagued Hollywood for far too long.
Weinstein's alleged behavior was not an anomaly, but rather a symptom of a larger problem within the entertainment industry. The power dynamics are inherently imbalanced, with powerful producers and executives like Weinstein holding sway over the careers of actors and actresses. This power dynamic creates an environment where abuse can flourish, particularly when coupled with a culture of silence and complicity.
The casting couch culture preys on the vulnerability of aspiring actors and actresses. They are often young, ambitious, and eager to please, making them easy targets for predators like Weinstein. The promise of a career-making role or the threat of being blacklisted can be powerful motivators, leading some to feel they have no choice but to comply with unwanted advances. The industry itself has perpetuated this culture through its silence and inaction. For too long, rumors of abuse were swept under the rug, and those who dared to speak out were often ignored or discredited. This lack of accountability created an environment where predators like Weinstein felt empowered to act with impunity. Harvey Weinstein's reign of abuse was made possible by a complex web of enablers. This web was intricately woven, involving various individuals and institutions that, through their actions or inactions, allowed his predatory behavior to persist unchecked. These enablers were not necessarily active participants in his predatory behavior, but their silence, inaction, and complicity allowed him to continue his pattern of abuse for decades. They turned a blind eye, choosing to ignore the whispers and rumors that circulated about Weinstein's misconduct. This network of enablers included individuals within Miramax, the broader Hollywood community, and even those tasked with upholding the law. Each played a role, whether by directly covering up his actions or by failing to take the necessary steps to stop him.
Within Miramax, employees were often aware of Weinstein's behavior, but they were too afraid to speak out. The fear of retaliation was pervasive, creating an environment where silence was the safest option. They feared for their jobs, their reputations, and even their safety. The power dynamics at play were heavily skewed in Weinstein's favor, making it nearly impossible for anyone to challenge him without facing severe consequences. Weinstein was known for his volatile temper and his ability to destroy careers. His wrath was something many had witnessed firsthand, and it served as a powerful deterrent against speaking out. He created a culture of fear and intimidation that kept his employees silent. This toxic environment ensured that his predatory behavior could continue without interruption.
The broader Hollywood community also played a role in enabling Weinstein. The industry, known for its tight-knit circles and power hierarchies, often prioritized success and reputation over moral integrity. Many people knew about the rumors surrounding his behavior, but they chose to look the other way. The fear of jeopardizing their careers by crossing a powerful man like Weinstein was a significant factor in their silence. Some were afraid of jeopardizing their careers by crossing a powerful man like Weinstein. The potential fallout from challenging such a prominent figure was too great a risk for many. Others may have convinced themselves that the rumors were just that, rumors, and that there was no concrete evidence to support the allegations. This self-deception allowed them to maintain their complicity without feeling the weight of guilt. Even legal professionals were complicit in protecting Weinstein. Their role was crucial in maintaining the facade of innocence that surrounded him. He had a team of high-powered lawyers on retainer, ready to silence any accusers with non-disclosure agreements and legal threats. These legal maneuvers were designed to intimidate and suppress any attempts to expose the truth. These lawyers used their skills not to seek justice, but to protect their client, no matter the cost. Their actions were driven by a desire to shield Weinstein from any repercussions, further enabling his predatory behavior.
The collective silence surrounding Weinstein's behavior allowed him to operate with impunity for years. This silence was a powerful tool that he exploited to continue his abuse without fear of exposure. It was only when a group of brave women came forward, willing to risk their careers and reputations, that the wall of silence finally began to crumble. Their courage in speaking out was the catalyst for change, shining a light on the dark reality that had been hidden for so long.